Are you thinking about whether you should buy the Common Guppy or the ENDLER Guppy? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the pros and cons of both fish. First off, let's start off with the Common Guppy. Now, the Common Guppy is probably the one that you've seen the most, simply because it's been in the hobby longer than a lot of other fish, and especially Endlers, because Endlers were actually recently introduced. Now, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with their differences? Well, this has everything to do with it. Guppies were first introduced by Wilhelm Steiners in 1859 and were discovered in Venezuela. But it wasn't until a man named Robert John Guppy introduced them to aquarium trade and became popular because of their unique patterns and colors. They were also really easy to breed, and a lot of people used this to create many different strains and name the strains after themselves. Because guppies were a lot earlier introduced, they were inbred more often and were kept in the aquarium hobby for a longer time. Guppies are much more fancier than Endlers because they were more inbred, but inbreeding makes the genes weaker. This is why I prefer Endlers, as they are not as inbred. Endlers are really similar, and at first glance they might not seem different. These fish were introduced in 1975, which was more than 100 years after the guppy. In short, Endlers are a much more wild version and have a lot more natural colors. More rare, but have a lot more better genes. As far as I know, there are barely any more Endlers left in the wild. Even the ones that you'll be getting from the store are not 100% Endler genes, as these fish have somehow been crossed with guppies. However, there are a very few, very rare Endlers that have never been crossed and that are wild. Nevertheless, Endlers and guppies look really alike. The one on top of this picture is an ENDLER guppy, and the one on the bottom is a common guppy. As you can see, the Endlers have a lot more natural patterns. Due to inbreeding, male guppies have much more fancy colors than Endlers. They also have a bigger tail and are bigger in general. To be exact, male guppies grow to around 1.4 inches and male Endlers get to around 1 inch. Another thing to point out is that female guppies have color on their tail and dorsal fins, while female Endlers have barely any. Nevertheless, Endlers and guppies are super alike. They look really similar, grow to about the same size, and eat the same food. Telling apart their gender is also really easy, as males have a stick-like gonopodium and the females have a fan-like anal fin. When they're young, it's almost impossible to tell whether they're guppies or Endlers. I personally prefer Endlers because even they're more rare and maybe more expensive, it's always worth buying a fish that have natural genes and are not as inbred. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing for more weekly content just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.